For last 2 days, you heard about AI ops, agentic a lot. Majority of those discussion was about how to use network to accommodate AI traffic. Now I'm going to turn the gear towards how to use various aspects of the AI to manage, control the network. And I'm going to give you what is the direction from the Ciena, what is exactly the strategy that we took to provide you with the various aspects of AI to control the system. So this slide is a summary of my entire presentation. Today you are using Gemini, Perplexity, ChatGPT. You are specifying a persona and using a question. The system is giving you what you need based on what you ask. Have you ever thought that I can do this one to my IP optical network? Can I go and talk to my optical network, to my single layer or multi-layer network, talk about aspect of the network, how to optimize it, how to configure it, how to do the assurance, and so forth. So in summary, I'm going to discuss what exactly means to talk to the network, what are the enablers to allow us to do that one. So this basically is summary of my presentation, as I mentioned. The whole idea of using various aspects of the AI to manage network, it's called AI ops, AI for operation. But what does it exactly mean? It means that per use case, and it's very important, we start with the use case. Per use case, I collect various aspects of the telemetry data from the network, whatever it is, PM, alarm, topology, so forth. Based on that use case, I go and make a sense of those data. We put them together, put all the things that's related to that use case. Now, put them together and make a decision about that. One thing which is very important from the Ciena perspective, the way that we are addressing the outcome of this process, we are addressing all in the life cycle of the network for an operators. In other words, when we talk about us from the Ciena, we are addressing it not from the planning of the network to assurance, to configuration, to automation and optimization. And what are the enablers for us to allow to provide that? The enablers are machine learning, generative AI, and agentic AI. We go through that one in more detail, but it's very important to understand, and last but not least, network digital twin. These are enablers. They are completely different. They have relationship with each other, but depends on the use case. You might want to use some of these enablers, not all of them together, or sometimes you want to use them together. As we go through today's presentation, I will go through more detail on that. Generally, we start from a use case perspective, from the reactive context. Something happened to the network. It could be assurance, could be optimization, could be a planning. I want to optimize the network right now. I want to assure or troubleshoot the network right now. Something happened, how I'm going to address it. So this is called reactive. If you go one step further, change it to the proactive, it means that something happened to the network about today's network or past network, but I'm going to automate it. For example, if something happened to the network, why I should wait for operator to come and ask what's going on? I can go and proactively run the logic and provide more information about what's happening. Now, if we go one step further, I can have predictive, meaning nothing happened to the network yet. I'm going to anticipate, I'm going to predict, forecasting of what is going to happen to the network, and based on that, I make a decision. So generally speaking, we start from reactive, but the strategy that Ciena has, we are pushing that one towards proactive and predictive. So with that in mind, there are some use cases, and I put this on only that you can take a look at that later on to make sure that from us, we are very organized about defining these use cases. We have various use cases in each of these groups, but the whole idea of this one here is we need to start with the use case, and that is the most important aspect. So with that in mind, there was a survey and ask the operators what are the top use cases that they think AI, as a general rule, is going to help them. And as you see, the top area is mainly related to proactive and predictive. Monitor the network, understand what's going on, and be smart about it. Go and do something before something happens. And that is, again, the direction that we are going, starting from reactive, going towards the proactive and predictive. I talk about what we want to do, and how to do it are basically these pillars: generative AI, agentic AI, machine learning, and network digital twin. Now I'll go through each of them. When we talk about agentic AI, basically is giving me the context of the language intelligence. Everybody uses that one today. Go one step further, we extend that one to the agentic AI, meaning it has a thought process. It can reason. It can do the reasoning and acting. It can access tools. It has short-term and long-term memory. It can do the orchestration and so forth. And these two together allows us to bring this context of the AI agents. This is a building block to whatever we do. AI agents is basically an entity which has a brain, LLM, and bunch of tools with short and long-term memory and orchestration logic. How and when we want to use it, it's an important aspect, but keep in mind that AI agents can make a decision, and based on that, we can also do the orchestration, and sometimes we need memory to keep the story or keep the conversation. With that in mind, when we talk about enablers, it is very important to understand the role of each of these three. We not necessarily need all three of these at the same time. It's very important to understand that not all the time I need a machine learning logic to learn from my data. I need it if and only if I want to do the prediction and forecasting, for example. I need generative AI when I want to have the language intelligence. And last but not least, I need agentic AI when I want to do the reasoning and acting and the logic that I want to implement. Putting all these together now is allowing me to provide you with the use cases that I mentioned previously, from the planning all the way to the automation. This is the Ciena implementation for whatever I mentioned before. Considering that AI agent as the building block, each of this circle is providing with the functionality. Don't take this one as a real realization, but rather the general framework that we have. We have a framework which provides you with various functionality that we can implement. This is very flexible. We have, for example, A2A, agent-to-agent protocol, which allows various agents to talk to each other. We have accessibility from one agent to tools using the MCP protocol. And with this ecosystem, it allows me to provide you with the various use cases that I mentioned previously. One aspect which is very important here is that considering the previous building block as a black box, how we can intelligently expose that functionality to the third party, to the third entity, OSS or BSS. And this picture is trying to provide that the solution that we have is providing that intelligence from the northbound, meaning if I have an operator, let's say blue color is operator, they have their own agentic framework, for example. How I can, the red is whatever Ciena is providing. How, from the Ciena perspective, I can expose the functionality intelligent to the northbound. And as you see here, we are introducing A2A protocol, and think of that one as API 2.0. It's a fancy name for an API which is related to the AI world. Basically, we are translating simple API to the more advanced API. So another aspect that Jan also mentioned, he's not here now, but he mentioned it before, about how we can expose the intelligence of the network using insights with the various telemetry that we have. So that programmability of the node provides us to go towards that predictive and proactive AI that I mentioned before. And what does it really mean? We collect the data, we make a sense of those data, we create so-called insight. So how there are PM and alarm and everything are related to each other. This is not enough, because at the end of the day, if you tell me that there is something, that some PMs or alarms is above threshold or below threshold or something's happening, it's good, but it's not good enough to help me to say, so what? What should I do as an operator? I want you to make sense of it. We go one step further and translate that one to actionable insight. What does it mean in a practical way? For example, let's say something happened to the network. I receive a bunch of alarms and PMs. I go behind the scene, run the assurance based on AI, make sense of all this data, provide you with the root cause, and provide you with the action that you have to take. I put everything inside that insight. I create an actionable insight and send this one, and for example, using a Slack or Teams to operator and say, I find out this is their issue, this is the way that you have to solve it, and I give them very specific task how to fix it. That is basically the whole ecosystem of you are proactively working or helping operators to achieve something that it wasn't able to do before. Another thing which is very important, we have to make a distinction between network controller deployment and the LLM. They are related, but they are distinct as well. From the network controller, various vendors providing network controller based on the cloud, based on, you can deploy it on-prem, as a SaaS application, and so forth. Great, but when it goes to AI, we have to talk about LLM as well. How I'm going to deploy LLM, how I'm going to use the LLM. There are various aspects of that also should be considered. There are some aspects that your customer can have their own LLM endpoints. They can go to OpenAI, they can go to Google and take that one. Or if they are, for example, tier one, they have enough CPU and GPU farm in their network, they can take an LLM, open source LLM, do fine-tuning of that, or potentially change it from LLM to a small language model to SLM, and put it in their ecosystem. And in this case, we are not talking about one LLM. And as you see, the first line is LLMs with S at the end. It means that in most cases, you need multiple LLMs. Not all the LLMs are the same. One is good for reasoning, one is good for the language intelligence, and so forth. So consider the fact that in a real network, potentially you need multiple LLMs. So, and one more thing that I have to add, sometimes when we talk about AI, we have to make sure we understand the domain knowledge matters. You know, when we talk about PM and alarm and log and topology and so forth, having the deep knowledge of the field, understanding the semantic is helping. And this is one of the aspects that will make the a distinction between our solution and competitors, that we are providing with that deep knowledge of the IP network, optical network, and cross-correlation or relationship between them. So with that, this is the second last slide. I talk about enablers, 3 of them: machine learning, agentic AI, and the generative AI. And the last one here is network digital twin. If I have a network to do emulation and simulation of some behavior of the network, can I use that one in the context of AI? Network digital twin is nothing but a glorified simulation emulation environment. With that in mind, the first thing that we're proposing, starting with introducing AI ops, is a kind of open loop action. Something happened in the network, or something is going to happen to the network. Our solution, AI ops, goes and provides suggestion to operators. Why we go that way? Because we want to make sure that operators are really confident of the outcome that we are providing. Whatever I'm providing, customer, operator can use it for 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. So this tool is very good. The output that provide is very good. With that in mind, now I can go and close the loop. Whatever provided, if something happened, tool says that go change this attribute from 2 to 6, it goes and takes that one and really put it in the network, and extending that one even one step further. Before doing that, I can put that changes that is provided to NDT, Network Digital Twin, to do the simulation and emulation to see if I give more confidence to operator that whatever I'm proposing is really working in your network. And with that, what did I talk today? I talk about AI for operations, AI ops, what it means, using various aspects of the AI, generative AI, machine learning, and so forth, to control your network. I mentioned that the whole goal is from reactive all the way to proactive and predictive, meaning going from automation to autonomy. I also mentioned that the solution that we provide, Ciena, is multi-layer, multi-vendor. We are addressing lots of use cases, and we are very specific and very clear about use cases in the area of the assurance, optimization, and automation. And last but not least, what are the enablers to allow me to do it? I went through these 4 pillars of the tool that allow me to do it. And with that one, I'm going to conclude the discussion. If there is any question, more than happy to take. Thank you.